There's a nation alive today that's larger than Australia, larger even than Sweden, Norway, and Denmark combined. It's a people held together by one language, by the mountains they call home, and by a story that has run unbroken for thousands of years. Yet if you open a world map right now, you won't find their name printed anywhere on it. This is the story of the Kurds, and the answer to a question almost nobody bothers to explain. The Kurds are far from a small or scattered people. Around 55 million of them live across a mountainous homeland known for centuries as Kurdistan, stretching through parts of modern Turkey, Iraq, Iran, and Syria. Their language belongs to the Iranian branch of the Indo-European family, which makes Kurdish a more distant cousin of English than it is of Arabic. For thousands of years, this has been a land of shepherds and scholars, of poets and warriors, all shaped by the mountains rising around them. The Kurds have an old saying that the mountains are their only friends, and those few words carry centuries of hard-earned resilience inside them. Trace Kurdish ancestry far enough back, and many historians arrive at the ancient Medes, a powerful Iranian people who joined Babylon to topple the mighty Assyrian Empire more than 2,600 years ago. Scholars still debate the exact lineage, and that debate is genuine, but one thing stays beyond dispute. Kurdish communities have lived among these mountains for thousands of years, settled there long before most of today's nations had even taken shape. When it comes to leaving a permanent mark on world history, one Kurdish name rises above all the rest: Saladin, remembered across the Western world simply as Saladin, was born in the 12th century into a Kurdish family and climbed to become one of the most respected military commanders who ever lived. He brought Egypt and Syria under one banner, founded the Ayyubid dynasty, and in 1187 he recaptured Jerusalem, earning genuine admiration even from the enemies he faced for the discipline and fairness he showed in war. A Kurdish name carved permanently into the heart of world history. Here's a question worth thinking about while you watch. Had you ever heard that Saladin was Kurdish? Drop your answer in the comments because I'm genuinely curious how many of you already knew that. If the Kurds carry a history this deep and this rich, why in the 21st century do they still have no country of their own? The answer sits inside a handful of decades that completely redrew the Middle East. When the First World War ended, the Ottoman Empire fell apart, and in 1920 the Treaty of Sèvres briefly opened the door to Kurdish autonomy, even to full independence. That door closed barely 3 years later when the Treaty of Lausanne replaced it and the promise of a Kurdish state quietly vanished from the page. New borders were drawn instead, shaped in large part by earlier deals struck between European powers, among them the Sykes-Picot Agreement of 1916. Kurdish land was carved up between 4 separate nations: Turkey, Iraq, Iran, and Syria, leaving one people and one mountain homeland suddenly split between 4 flags that none of them had chosen. What happened next is the part that truly stays with you, because of everything that managed to survive. Scattered across 4 countries, ruled by 4 governments, speaking dialects shaped by wherever they happened to live, from Kurmanji to Sorani and beyond, the Kurds watched their identity hold firm instead of dissolving. Language, music, and storytelling passed down by voice kept the thread intact through all of it. Even now, the dengbêj, the traditional Kurdish storytellers, still sing epic histories that traveled from one voice to the next across generations, long before a single word of it was ever written down. On the 21st of March every year, Kurds everywhere, from the mountains of Iraq to cities scattered across Europe, gather to celebrate Newroz, the Kurdish New Year. Bonfires are lit against the night, families join hands to dance the govend in long connected lines, and the flames are leapt over as a symbol of renewal and fresh beginnings. It stands among the oldest festivals still celebrated anywhere in the region, older than most of the calendars the modern world runs on. Kurdish hospitality carries that same weight, and in Kurdish tradition, a guest is treated as something close to sacred, fed, and welcomed without a single question asked, following a code of honor handed down through generations. Here's something I'd really love to hear from you. If you're Kurdish, how does your own family celebrate Newroz? And if you're not, is there a tradition in your culture that carries the same kind of meaning? Tell me down in the comments because I read every single one. Today, the Kurdistan region in northern Iraq runs as a recognized federal region with a government of its own, standing as one of the clearest modern expressions of Kurdish self-governance. Beyond its borders, Kurdish communities keep their language, their music, and their identity alive, very often against genuinely steep odds. No single line on any map has ever truly defined who the Kurds are. Their story was never written into borders at all. It lives in the mountains, in the fire of Newroz, in a language carried from grandmother to grandchild, and in a history far older than the countries drawn around it. 55 million people, 4 countries, and one story that simply refuses to be forgotten. Every Kurd carries a piece of this story inside them. If this history is yours, drop your region in the comments, Badinan, Sorin, Rojava, wherever you call home. And if you want to keep exploring it alongside us, the legends, the language, the celebrations, and the people who shaped all of it, subscribe to the channel and stay close. This is only the beginning.